All right, looks like we're there. Doc here from North America. Let's see, do we have everything up there? Oh, we don't. Let's put this up there too. And there is the fact check Excel spreadsheet right there, following all our signals. So here we go again, another fun-filled day. What is it? It's Happy to Hump Day, right? It's Wednesday. So middle of the week already. Hooray for us. And what do we have up there this morning? You can see the euro. Euro is still acting firm. And let's take a look at it through the Chicago Quant at the same time. You can see also on J4X, you can see how it's moving up here, very strongly. Now, we're not getting a lot of appreciation on the product itself. As a matter of fact, you can see it's a down candle at the moment. But we have a couple green dots going on there still, and we're in a daily buy for a whole day. I think we're going on the second day here. So we'll see if it holds up or if it rolls over. And that is pretty much what the euro is trying to do. Now, the bigger question is, I have to assume that a lot of these markets are getting waggly, kind of like not a lot of energy, not a lot of strength in them. They're just finding ways to go back and forth, like an ebb and flow. And, at first I thought we would see some type of anticipation, to the Trump victory and so forth. And I'm wondering if it's already in the market. We are near all-time highs on a lot of products. And so I'm thinking that a lot of it may be in the market. And whereas the first time Mr. Trump won, the markets exploded. I mean, went up like 30% in no time at all. It was amazing. And that's a big move for, world markets. But this time I'm wondering more of, there's just enough confidence that no matter how it plays out in the end, that he's still going to hold on to his position, and the economies are going to come back, and we're going to see a lot of this healthier growth again. And that seemed to be what we talked about when it came to cable. We thought that a lot of the weakness in the cable is more because of the virus situation and the frustration of people in England. And you can see all these protests they're having about no more masks and give us the truth, and just all those things seem to be marching along, and you can see it in the marketplace here. I mean, look at this on the euro here. It's a real plateau there. It tries to make some type of low, and at best it does. It just breaks the lows here, but it refuses to, try to take out this great move that it had. And then when you go to J4X, you can see the same thing. That fantastic move there. And what it does is it plays down to it, makes a low, and turns around and starts coming back up again. So, in the end, I got an email from somebody, and a friend of mine, and it's been in the market much longer than I, and I think he's heading for 60 years in the market, or at least 55, that's for sure. And he sent over a great article about the dollar probably being weaker over the next year and putting strength into the metals market, and that would make sense. We'll probably see maybe a little bit better, because if it all plays out the way we're thinking, then what happens? The world economy gets lifted up, and it will pull Europe along with it. I think that's the best way to describe that, is it'll just pull Europe along with it. So, all right. I don't see any questions, so we'll jump over to cable now and see what they're doing with the cable. And that's the British pound against the dollar right there. And as you can see there, it also looks the same exact way. It's showing strength. It too has made a little bit lower, move than the euro, of course. And then when we move this up, you can see it did the same thing. It took out these lows here. It has become resistance. And again, we think that a lot of this has to do with all the protests that are going on. Seem to support this high back in here, or that high there. So we're thinking that it, as they figure this all out, they will, what we'll see is we will see the products, the cable in particular, start to put some strength back into it. And so hooray for us. That's pretty much the way we see it all. Um, let's see, what else can we look at? Oh, let's look at it here on the Chicago Quant. There it is, right there. You can see this is holding on. It had a high there on Monday, and it's kind of cascaded down. It's been closing higher though, but it has not taken out the high. And you can see here our weekly is minus, just like. Let me just go back to the euro. I believe the same situation. I didn't emphasize that. Let me just emphasize that a little bit more. And so you can see here, same situation, except for it's tighter. It's really tightening up. But look at that white line, still buried deep underneath. We need that thing to turn up to get some real action. We're thinking that this was going to try to roll over after a day or two, and here we are now starting to see that in the price action. It's going lower at the moment. We'll see if it follows through and this starts to come back down, and the white line does one of these things, and we start to get another, and maybe they come and challenge this area, 114.5, 115. But right now, nothing particular is jumping out at us more than just a pre-election sloppiness. That's pretty much the best way to describe that, is pre-election sloppiness. That's it. All right, and we've seen that many times over the decades. And now we'll go over to Turkish Lira and see what they're doing today. Now, the Monday also is the high to that, the 89.10 basically. And you can see here, it launched itself back up again from that one-day sell. Oh boy, exciting, isn't it? And we'll see if they, over the next couple of weeks, what they do with this. We have such a high white line over plus manifold there, that it's not exactly giving us the signal that they want to break down too hard. So, if it got underneath that, maybe we'd start to see, some type of little correction, like we had back here, that type of action. It did it there. But again, that was halfway through the action, and the daily sell did get generated. We've probably stole that line a few times, right there. So that was the daily sell. And maybe we'll get something, a couple weeks of some action, and go flirt with the weekly sell. After, as you can see on line 17 on the spreadsheet, we are, almost a full year now, right there, in a weekly buy. 43 weeks. We're now 9 weeks away of being able to say the product has been in a weekly buy for a whole year. Is that like? It's not. No other way to describe that, but as one slow burn catastrophe type of situation going on for that country. Going from 1.5 handle up to, as I take a bite of my apple here, going from 1.5 handle all the way up to almost 8. Wow. That's just outrageous. Okay. So what do we have here? So that's the Turkish Lira, and we'll just see how that rolls along. I guess we have nothing else to say there except for, you can see the white line is trying to aim down, so maybe it'll put some weakness in here, or they're just going to give us another spike, one or the other. And you got to wonder, that situation with Armenia, with its neighboring country, how much of an effect. I know that this spike came as the fighting became a little bit more sophisticated and much more aggressive. So we're starting to see pictures of advanced weaponry being used by the Armenians. So it's not 1900 anymore, and so they're probably taking a few pages from the Israelis when it comes to how to survive and hold back whatever resistance that's giving them issues. All right. Speaking of which, I saw a horrible article this morning. It's just horrible about what that explosion was in Beirut. It was fuel for rockets. So what happened was the fuel for the rockets were being parked next to fireworks. Who thinks up these crazy ideas? Who in their right mind does something like that? Obviously not Hezbollah. My God. Don't they care about the population around them? All right. Where else are we now? Let's jump over to Canadian. All right. You can see here Canada Canada is trying to move down a little bit. It's still in a buy for the last bunch of days, and it jumped into the weekly buy last week. And you can see we climbed, nothing fantastic. It's kind of hesitant. If you wanted to describe anything, that's definitely a flat looking situation, and the math is starting to run out of steam. Let's see if we can widen this a little bit more, just for you to be able to see that. So the white line and the histogram have found a way to drift underneath the zero line. So it's trying to go into a sell. We got a green dot there. And let's see, what do we got on here? Let's take a look at it on J4X. Dollar Canadian, right there. This probably is at the top of its range. I'm thinking that's what's going on there. Yep, look at that. Top of its range and trying to roll over. And at the moment, the white line has not yet pierced the dashed line, or the golden line there, or dotted line. But it's trying. It's heading there, and the dashed purple line is trying to pierce it too at the same time. So there's some pressure on this product too. Just like it was here, just like it was there, and like it was there. Now, that was shallow. This was a little bit deeper. This was a lot deeper. And this is, we were like about 11 or 12 weeks in a buy at one point. I'm sorry, in a sell. What was that? There, you can see it actually on the screen. Let's see if we can repost that, or not post it, but just bring it up and show you. Hey, 47, how you doing? Coupled government, corrupted government. Where's this? Is that what is going on? Do you know what's going on over there? In the Armenian situation, or in Beirut? Which one are you talking about? I know, it's really ugly. Can you imagine they parked all that missile fuel there? I guess, what kind of logic is that? Putting enormous amounts of more combustible elements next to explosive fireworks. I guess what they were thinking is that it'll be very hard for the Israelis to hit it. And I guess after a while, you had some type of meltdown, and it exploded it anyway by itself, or somebody sabotaged it, one or the other. Lebanon, yeah. They're really, I guess there's like this PTSD situation. The split of Lebanon in the 70s and the 80s, especially the 80s, and all that civil war going on in the center of the country and in Beirut, that really probably has made people want to just resolve things politically. But obviously, it's not really working out very well. So what they're doing is they're taking the whole country down. So everybody says, okay, let's kind of cool off and not shoot at each other. And instead, they find ways to destroy themselves in a more passive way, which is not any better than just having a civil war in the middle of the country. So it's a shame, it really is. I hope they can figure that stuff out and make it better for the civilization around them. I feel for them. I guess that's why the Sunni Arabs are starting to sign peace treaties with Israel. They see that the insanity has become well beyond anything that any one of them wants to be involved in. I guess that's what it comes down to, is they realize that this is not the way to live. All right, and you can see here the Canadian, like I said, is trying to get into the minus here. That's what's always funny is that Canada tries to move with Turkey. It's an interesting thing that the two of them do that. And we have a little downward pressure on the Turkish Lira. And here we have a downward pressure trying to develop on the Canadian. It's very odd. I guess maybe it's the dollar. Maybe it's a hint to the dollar's action. In other words, that means the dollar is a little bit stronger. I wonder, let's do this. Let's jump over to the Swiss franc, because I find the saltine really insightful. Now here it's showing that the dollar is weak. And I kind of want to always think that the saltine really is really strong evidence of the direction of the dollar, but obviously not when it comes to I guess let's see. So I guess that would be right. right? Yes, that is right. So the Canadian's going down. The saltine is going down. The Turkish lira is trying to move down in some downwardly direction. So that means the dollar is weak. Yeah, I guess that's the best way of describing that. I really think that the saltine, the dollar saltine pairs trade is probably one of the more insightful pairs trades we're watching anymore. I really do. I think that has a lot of insight. I really do. I think that we're garnering more information from that than I think a lot of people realize. That it has a lot more insight, and that is that. Yeah. So let's see. I guess that's about it there, huh? Yeah. So that is really like the. I mean, we're almost at a point now where you want to start. We want to start the webinar with the Swiss saltine, and then go to the euro, because it does give, I think, real clarity. Now, obviously, we were looking at the euro, and the euro is weakening. See it right there? It's weakening. So the dollar is strong against that, but weak against the other three. And then where's the cable again? Let's look at the cable. And the cable, I guess you could call that down. That's a little down. So the cable is a little weaker against the dollar also. So the euro and the cable are a little weaker against the dollar. But then we're seeing Canada, the Turkish lira, and the saltine, the Swiss saltine, stronger against the dollar. Interesting. I think we're starting to come across something here that might be well worth watching. I think I'm going to start doing the webinar starting with the Swiss saltine until we see a change, and then in the end see who is really the leader of giving us a clear direction of the dollar. Because I can tell you this, the dollar index itself is also weak this morning. So, right there you go. Oh, no, okay, so it's lifting up. It is lifting up from yesterday. But it's still in the sell from here. But it is lifting up. So that is... Okay, so let me just reset that. I would have been happier to see this thing down. That would have been more insightful, I think, if it had been down. Because then, the dollar index itself is dropping. Now, the dollar index is made up of the 6 products, the euro and the yen and the cable and the Canadian and the Swiss saltine and the kroner. So it's made of those 6 products. So, it can be influenced. Obviously, it's being influenced. It's firmer. Just it started off this morning it started off there. We'll see. This is pre-market too. Anything's possible. What's the bid and offer? The bid is 39. The offer is 41. That's tight enough. Yeah, that is tight enough. So, it's not really reflective of what we're seeing when we watch the saltine. But again, 3 of those products are showing some interesting direction there. All right. Where were we at? We were at the saltine. So now we'll go over to the yen. See what the yen's doing here. We'll put the yen up there. Right there. The yen looks a little firm there in this morning. But also at the same time on J4X, you can see this is getting way high up there. This is trying to roll over now. The question is, will it break these dotted lines and make it break down again? Let's throw it up over at the... okay, we have it up there already. So let's take a look at it there too. And you can see here, the white line. Let's make that white line a little bit thicker too. There we are. And we'll go with there it is. We'll save that. I know we can save it. You can save it. We can save it. We're all going to save it. There it is right there. Save workspace. And save workspace as. So you can see there it's trying to turn down. And that's the daily. So the daily is weakening. It's dropped underneath. Let's make that time manifold also very clear. There we are. And we'll save that also. Doesn't want to let me do that, so let's use this one right there. Save workspace again. And you can see it's trying to break down on the 0 line there now. You can see manifold itself is tightening up just like it did the last time before it broke. Last time it tightened up there. Let's show you, move this over a little bit for you. You see it tightened up there. It had a break in it also. So we'll see it. What's going on here. It needs to get a little bit more tighter, of course, but and you can see here the weekly is trying to turn up. And what is that? That's line 19 on the spreadsheet, right? Yeah, 19. So we're 2 weeks now in a sell and 6 days in a buy. And it went into a sell this week here. And that's the close of the week right there. Confirming it. Started the week off in a, breaking down into a sell right off from the first day. And you can see where it was in a daily sell from here all the way up to this point here. So I guess this is just a lot of zigzag, nothing like, again, it does remind me of pre-election markets where they become weak. They just go up and down, and there's not a lot of integrity to their direction. They just kind of stumble along, and before you know it, the election's over with, and people looking for a rally don't get the rally. Instead, they just kind of roll over. And that does have that look to it now. We're starting to look at that. I'm sure there'll be some type of relief rally, but the question is, where will it come from? That's the bigger question. Does it come from higher from here or lower from here? So that's the real question. And how will it treat the currencies? I would imagine the currencies will start to see a weaker dollar with Mr. Trump's election. As we take another bite of the apple there. All right, where do we go from here? So that's the yen. Usually, I think we try to go to the NASCAD, which is like a oil pairs trade. So we'll do that right there. Now this is showing strength, and it's been in. Let's grab one of these, or let's put one in there. So it went into the daily buy here. How did that happen? Let's try that again. Went into the daily buy here. So it's a couple days in a buy. I think you can see that on the spreadsheet. That's line 20. What is that? NASCAD. Right there. 2 days in a full buy now. And 2 weeks in a buy. Okay. But you can see it went into the buy and it went into a daily sell. And now it's, okay, let's do this. Let's move that down. Oh, I don't think we've been filling some of these in. Let's fix this. We used to fill this in a lot because we used to pay attention to it a lot. And then things kind of drifted from it. I guess that's it right there. There's a sell. So it goes into the buy and goes into a daily sell, which means you can't be long. It's always funny how it does that stuff. S&P, sure. Thank goodness someone's pulled me in a good direction. I want questions. Last I looked, I saw the S&P playing underneath the daily sell number. See, I even have a red line there for the day. Now it's back up again. It's lifting up. Okay, so, wow, they had a nice slide down, didn't they? It went down to 32.91, and now it's almost unchanged. Wow. What an interesting move there, huh? Now it's trading around 30, so they're bringing it back up. And this was underneath there when I sent that out for Chicago Quant this morning. And you can see what's going on here. The time manifold, the white line's underneath it. You can see right there, it's got a lot of room to go to get it to turn back up. We were thinking maybe this is an ABC. A, B, C, A. This is a B, and we were wondering if we were going to get a C down even further, just because of the way this is looking. So if this starts to zigzag and this turns up, then we know that they're going to try to lift it up. So Middle Age, how you doing? Could you take a look at deck corn? Sure. Glad to. 47. How was that with the S&P? I just thought we can go back and look at that again if you have any more questions. Don't be afraid to ask more questions on the same subject. I have no problem. And the same thing with you too, Middle Age Muscle. You can ask questions, more questions about the same product. You just, you're not like stopped out. Like, oh, you asked corn already. I don't want to answer anymore. We don't know how much more we can learn. So I can never turn anybody down. Like if someone says, I want to know more about, I want to look at the S&P again, we can go back and look at the S&P again. There's so much more information I have on this chart about what's going on, the nuances of these characteristics and the dots and so forth, And then we have the J4X. We can take a look and see where it stands in the conventional way and how it plays against itself in a relativic way at the same time. That's how we use J4X. We use a relativic view of it. So here's corn. This is deck corn. You can see it's firm. You can see the crazy thing has been in a buy since, what is that? July 12th? No, let's see. What's 8? 8 is August. So August 12th, every time it tries to go into a sell, like the black histogram goes minus, but the white line holds up. And then you can see here, the white line tries to go minus, but the histogram is plus. So it's still in a buy throughout this whole move. And then it does it there. The histogram goes minus, but the white line is above. Then they both get up there again. And then the black histogram is plus, the white line goes minus. And we have green dots all too at the same time. Then it does it here. Then it really gets tenacious. The white line finally breaks down to try to join the black histogram. And what happens? The histogram goes plus again. You can see the weakness that was there, but it launches it. Now, let's redo this too. Let's try to reload it. We'll give it a 2-week reload. And as you can see here, that is today. No, that's yesterday. And the product is trying to climb up again. And you can see we're breaking through the time manifold on the top. Now, this is the daily. Now, when looking at the weekly, you can see this week it has dropped underneath the time manifold right there. And let's move these things over like that. And you can see that it's making a challenge towards the weekly sell. Now, we went into a daily buy here at, what was that? That was, where are we at here? There it is right there. So we went into a daily buy at 327.25 close. All right. And we've been in a daily buy ever since. It just refuses. I mean, can I emphasize any more than that? That it just refuses to go into a sell. I mean, it's zigging and zagging, but it just refuses to do it. And we get a couple of red dots here and there. And we get some breakdowns. And one part of this finds a way to fall down, but it doesn't totally do it. And then you can see here, the weekly buy was joined in at somewheres in that week. I guess you could say something like in there, somewhere's around the 14th, or I guess I guess the weekly should be moved over, right? Yeah, so it should be there, like that. So, a couple days later, it confirms, and you can see it through here, and it's been in a what? This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I got it on the spreadsheet. That's line 2, as you can see on the spreadsheet. Line 2. It's been in a weekly buy for 7 weeks now. So, and where's it gone to? The high is what? The high is 76, almost 77. No, 79. 79. So 79 from 20-something, right? 26, 27. 27 and change with a low of 20. Wow. So how's that? Is that crazy stuff, this corn, or what? I mean, they just keep on buying it. And they try, middle-age muscle. They try to knock it down, but they just have not been successful whatsoever to do it. So I hope that answers your question. And like I said to you and 47 and anybody else out there listening, if you've asked a question like 47 did about S&Ps, and we did a quick look at it, and then we jumped in over to the corn and we did a quick look at that, we can, if you have more questions about the same product, do not hesitate. Ask. because we can go and look at other things about this that I can show you what we follow. You know, how we look at it, that type of thing. So, okay, there we go. And we'll just wait and see if you have any more interest. And what should we do? I guess we could jump over to. I have no real strong direction. We could take a look at the commodities more. We could go take a look at crude oil or gold or something like that and see what's going on there. It's been interesting with the commodities, crude oil in particular. It tried to go into a weekly buy. It did go into a weekly buy back here 2 weeks ago. And on the Monday, after it confirmed it, you know, they slammed it down, and then they tried to put it into a daily sell, but you can see the strength in it. And now you can see here, today, the weekly has finally dipped totally underneath the zero line, both the black histogram and... Is it the black histogram too? Let me just double check that. I think the black histogram too. Yes. No. So the white line is through it. Let me just double check what this is. Yeah, so that's invisible. So it's plot 4, not plot 6. Okay, so let's look at that. So plot 4 is minus, and plot 6 is minus. So they're both through. You can see we went to a sell again there. You can see where we got back up to the highs of a week ago. Up in here, and then it's rolled over again. So this is one of the worst buy signals we've seen in a long time. Very long time. It has to happen, traders. We have an 8.5 out of 10 accuracy rate. You got to have that 1.5 somewhere. It has to happen. So there it is. It's happening. And it gave us a chance to get out with not much pain, but it's still doing that. Now it looks like we're trying to go into a sell, and that's what makes me think we may be seeing an A, B, and a C for the downside here when it comes to Mr. R. Elliott's work. And so that's why I'm thinking that when I look at the S&Ps. Let's just go back to the S&Ps real quick. Right there, I keep on thinking that it wants to do like some type of A, B, and a C. And this was like an A, B, C, A, and then this is the B. And we'll see if this rolls over or gets some life in it that way. And that's pretty much why we're thinking that. Yeah, because crude oil and the stock market do have a natural tendency to march with each other. So, all right, now let's take a look at gold right there. Now gold is acting very firm compared to silver today. And you can see it's been in a daily buy for, is that 2 days? And that's line 6. 2 days in a daily buy. So it's holding up fairly well. You know, it's higher. But you can see here, we've been in a weekly sell since this high area here of the 1975 area. You know, it's been in a weekly sell area there. See that? So, and it's what is that? That's 3 full weeks. Or is it? Yeah, 3 full weeks. As you can see on the fact check spreadsheet right here. See that right there? And we're in a daily buy, so it's trapped into a neutral situation. So you can't be short, and it's telling you down here at the lows after a 150-point drop not to be short anymore. That's what it's telling you. That's what that signal was there, is to be short, joining in with the weekly, and that was a success. And then you have it telling you down in here, watch out above, and sure enough, it has climbed from I don't know, say the 1875 area with a low of 1868. It has climbed today all the way up to 1906. So, and we talked about this a couple of days ago when it first started there. I thought we'd see it move up $30 or $40, and it seems to be doing that. And look at the low in it too. I mean, the low is 85. I mean, so they're not exactly like a runaway freight train situation. Alrighty. Any other questions out there? Since it's hump day, let's take a look at copper. There it is right there. And let's just give it a quick refresh. And I think we'll go to silver from copper. You can see here, this thing's holding up in the weekly with no problem. And then all of a sudden this week, oops, it rolls over. Went into the sell here. So, you know, this was bad for a little while. You know, we got this sell signal here, and you can see it climbed up. And we're in a weekly sell at the same time. I have to laugh at that. And you can see the time manifold still banging underneath. It's so rare to see something insane like that. Boy, talk about 1.5 being wrong. There's a horrible 1.5. It made it back, of course. You know, you finally get into the buy here, and it gives you this move right in here. So, you know, it's like a move from here to there, and then it gives you a move from here to there. So it just about makes you money back. But now you're in a you know, it gives it a sell, so you're not trapped in that. And then it slams it down big. And now it gave you the buy here, and it's lifting up, making money for you again. So copper's acting kind of unique in its own way. And then let's take a look at Silverado. And there's silver. Silver was flirting with the daily sell there at one point this morning. We'll see what it's doing, you know, as the end of the day comes. But at this point in time, we can literally get rid of that. And you can see it's holding up there. But again, we're in a weekly sell. So the product, you know, we went into a buy here after that nice win. Another win-win. Was it winner chicken dinner? And so, you know, from here to there. And, you know, it told you not to be short anymore. And sure enough, it's climbing. And, you know, it's so, I don't know, maybe this will roll over again. And we're in a weekly sell, and maybe it'll go down again. I don't know. You know, silver's unique in its actions. You know, it, you know, it's 26% off its high of 5 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, so, or 6 weeks ago, I guess now it is, and that's pretty impressive. It is wild and woolly, whereas, you know, gold is down like, you know, 9-10%, something like that, and with this action, it's even a little less. So silver can really be wild. I mean, wild in a good way. You know, it can take off and do 20% moves and 25% moves and 30% moves. That's incredible. That's incredible, phenomenal numbers. I mean, that's just volatility incorporated. So, now what do we have here? Hello, hello, hello.
May I please speak with Murray?
Yes, you have. Yes, you have him.
Hi, Murray. My name is Michelle.
All right. Can you ring back in about 24 minutes? The planet is listening to you as I do my webinar.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye now. Bye. There we are. There we go. We got a roofer coming out to take a look at the damage of that tree. So where are we at in this? Okay, yeah, so that's what the silver does. It's a wild little beast. It really is. It does some exotic action, and everybody likes products that can make runs like that, especially if you're putting options on. Man, if you can get some good prices in the options, great potential. Great potential wins. So, all right, now let's see what else we got going on here. I guess that's about it for the silver. So we've taken a look at gold, copper, and silver. If anybody wants to see any other metals, please shout out. We do have charts on a bunch of them at this point. We also have, what do we have? Palladium right there. And you can see there it went into a sell and at the same time goes into a daily buy, and we lift up so you don't get burned from that. And then it was in a sell here. And I mean, it tried to give you a profit, and then it goes into the buy here. So you're not short, and then it starts to lift up, and it gives you a short here, and then it gets you back into there. And you miss this whole pain point there of not getting damaged because it was in the buy, and then it gives you a sell. I guess where is it at? Right there. And then it spikes, but starts to back off, and then you can see it falls down, and it's an actual winner. Even with that spike, it's a winner in profit. And then we get back into the buy somewhere around here. But we're in a weekly sell, so you can't take it, of course. But at least you're not in there for the pain of that move up. And then it goes into a buy, and then we get a great sell there. But we can't take the short unless you're doing the options, of course. And now you can see it's trying to get back into the weekly buy there. And we're in a daily buy. So that Palladium thing has got some guts to it. Now, since no one seems to be caring, we'll go over to platinum. Why not? We'll just look at all the metals. We could actually label this webinar today all 5 metals. The review of all 5 metals today. We could do that. That's a goodie, you know. And so let's see. Let's take a look at this. This is platinum. Went into the buy there. And there was the daily buy first right there. So it led us into the weekly. And then we got into a sell right here. And we went down and made some monies there. Instant gratification. And then it gave you a buy signal here, which you can't take. And then it gave you a sell signal here, which whipped all over the place. So it gave the sell signal around the 934 area. And it traded as high as 967 and finally landed as low as 882. So what a wild and woolly beast that was. And then it tried to climb into the buy there. But again, we were in a weekly sell, so you can't take that. And it did protect you from, you know, that $50 or $45 move. And then it went into the sell again while you're in a sell at the, what is that? That is the 930 area. And it gave you instant gratification in just over a 2-day period, where from 930 it fell down to it fell down to 855 basically. So it was like an $85 drop. So, boy, yeah, there's a wonderful little option product to play. And it opens the doorway to all kinds of great potential. Now it's going back into the daily buy, but again, we're a bunch of weeks now in a sell. You can see here 2 and 4 and 6 and 7 going on a 7. But on the spreadsheet, I guess it's what, 6 weeks in a sell on the platinum. Let's see, where are you? That is line. Where are you at? Line 7. Okay. So line 7 shows you that it's been in weeks in a sell. And what else can we say about that? It's actually 6, it says there. So, and I think the sheet says 5. So we got to fix that. Make that 6. There we are. We'll do a little save there. Let's see. And so, what do we got there? Platinum's trying to lift up, but look at that white line. Look how far down it is. But the last time it did that too, it found a way to jump up. And it was a wild, woolly move. But it did have some really nice action up in there. Look at it. Went into the buy here. It went ziggy-zaggy all over the place. But in the end result is that it traded all the way up. What was that? I guess you could say it really confirming into the buy somewhere around the 8 or the 918 and zigzagged all over back down, you know, up to 1,000 almost, and then fell back down to it and then back up again, still being in the buy until this point right here. So that's the platinum. And I think, like I said, we'll basically call this webinar looking at all. Was that 5? 3? Yeah, all 5 metals. I think that's a good way of describing this webinar. I know it's just a short conversation, but you know, when I think about it, you know, it's legitimate. You know, I mean, we are looking at all 5 products, so someone could tune into this and in the middle of the show realize that, oh, okay, yes, they're talking about. We could say the title is, let's see, what can we say the title is? I like that. Looking at all 5 metals. There we are. At all 5 metals. I think that's good. I think that's a good. You know, it's like I said, it was about 15. You know, I don't know what time is it now. It's 9:12. I think we started looking at gold around 3 or 4 minutes off. So it was about a good 15-minute conversation here of the metals. And that's that. All right, now let's jump over to, now that we've done all the metals, let's take a look at, what else can we look at here? We can go back to the stock indices. We do that usually. What else? Oh, we looked at crude. Didn't we look at crude? Yes, we did. We looked at crude. Did we look at natural gas? Let's just take a look at natural gas real quick again. There it is there. We did that yesterday. It tried to go into the sell. And last night I thought it was in a sell, and here it is, still in a buy. But the weekly, you can see right here, has broken down. and you can see the price action has broken down, and we're still not getting a daily sell. It's really battling there. It just refuses to get in there. So we'll see what that does. This alone here is, a warning, obviously, with the white line underneath the zero line and histogram minus, that it's avalanching, and you don't want to be long. But it's telling you that it was long from here, and it's been in a weekly buy. So anybody who was long from, say, the where is that? The 2.65 or 6 or 7 area, and didn't take any profits up in the 295 area, and now sees itself sitting back down in the 251 area. That's why we always say, please take a profit somewhere along the line, and then put a stop in and not allow yourself to get trapped. Middle Age says, let's see, back in July, I liquidated my silver calls that I paid $2,000 a piece for, 26 piece for $26,000. If I would have been following your system, could have made an extra $15,000. Well, I'm just happy you made money. That's all that counts, really, in the end result. And also, good money management is always important. If you put a position on and you take off some of the profits in the middle of it all, and then you put your stop in so that you don't lose money, then what happens is that you usually are a successful trader that way. And that's always an important factor. In other words, if you're always taking profits, and then sometimes you catch a good move, like you just suggested, there was a little bit extra in there, that would have been cool. But and I think, I guess, did you remember, Middle Age? Were you watching us then when we went rampaging bullish on this product around the $13 area on the silver? Let's go back to silver. We'll take a look at that again, since that's what we're having the conversation about. Is that what we're having a conversation about? Silver, yeah, okay. Yeah, we were rampagingly bullish because, and we talked about this yesterday too, I think. This here really had me perplexed. This sell-off that in February going into March really had me perplexed. It dropped underneath $12. So it fell from, was it like $19, almost $20, and it fell down to under $12. And I had to believe that's, you're looking at, like a 41% drop. Is it 41%? No, it's like an 87% drop, okay, in value. From almost $20 down to 11 and change. It was a high 11.71 to be exact. And I just was totally convinced that the liquidation was a forced liquidation, not like a decision of trading. And so Robin and I from Chicago Quant, what we did is we were really pressing the fact that this seemed to be totally absurd and you had to be long this product, especially in the 13 area. Right around here, you can see when we went into the weekly buy in here, we were really, we were like in daily buys here, just underneath the just around 14. And I was totally convinced even lower, but we didn't get the signals. But then we got a little sell signal here after a run up into the, what did it do? It ran up to like 19 again. And we were convinced we were going to see the mid-20s at that point. I was just totally convinced because of the absurd selling down here in the 11s. I just thought, and the 12s, I thought, we're going to go well beyond the 20. And sure enough, a week and a half later, we went back into the buy. We were in a sell here for a couple of days, and then it went into the daily buy and to join in with the weekly buy. And it ran from the $20 area to the $30 area. It had a, what's that, the 33% more move on the upside. And so, that silver, to me, was very obvious the insanity of that drive. In other words, those hedge funds that were trading volatility got trapped so bad selling naked volatility that they had to liquidate at the most absurd prices just to try to stay in business an extra day or two. And remember, they pretty much went out of business, those volatility funds. They made billions of dollars, and then in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, blew themselves up. After 10 years of making billions of dollars, they lost billions of dollars. And that's why I'm always a very pro be long gamma when you're selling premium and options. In other words, if you want to sell premium and options, sell call spreads, sell put spreads, but don't do it naked. And they did it naked. And so the only way you can hedge, hey, Robin, and the only way you can hedge short volatility is to sell the underlying product. That is the only, is that the right one? Yes. So if you're short puts, you've got to sell the underlying product. I mean, you don't have a choice. And it's a fire sale, as a calculation. There is no such thing as, let's see what the fair value is. It's like, hell no, sell it at the market and as much as you can. And it's like, yes, but that's going to put you down like, I don't care. I want to stay in business one more day because maybe it'll bounce back up and we'll be all right, and they got all blown out. Those volatility funds have gotten blown out, and they're gone now. So it to me, I thought that was the most obvious of the insanity of that February-March sell-off was the silver. So that was what our thought and our thinking was, and so that's pretty much where we're at that whole situation now. Let's see. Is this another roofer? Hello, hello.
Hi, this is Tony Bentley Roofing. How are you?
Hey, you gonna show up at 10 o'clock?
Yep, that's why I'm calling. We'll be there at
Rod,
10 o'clock.
All right. Say hello to the world. Say hi, world.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm in the middle of a webinar that broadcasts through Europe. So say hello, world. Hi, world.
Hello, world.
There you go. All right, I'll see you at 10 o'clock then.
All right, take care, buddy.
Bye-bye. Okay, so what happens is that, that insanity forced the selling so hard in all products, S&Ps, gold, silver, oil. They were short volatility all over the place. And when you're short put volatility and the market's going down, you've got to short the underlying product, which means being short all those futures contracts or stocks. You just got to do it. It doesn't matter how bad it is, how low it is, and hence why the Dow went down, 10,000 points. And the stock markets went down 20 some odd points, almost 30 some odd points. There was just blind rage selling by the funds, but not by the investors. And the investors were, and I showed you, I had took apart the Swiss National Bank. They're buying. They had bought so much of the FANGs down low, like they bought Apple at $245 or $255 a share, or $260, or things like that. They bought, I think they bought Amazon at like $1,600 a share. The thing went back up to $3,000. They took in they bought. I mean, when you talk about central banks printing money out of thin air, they printed the money out of thin air. And they stepped up and they bought the lows of some of the best stocks in the world. And they raked in the do-re-mi. And I'll tell you, I have a lot of respect for that central bank. I mean, if you're going to do this stuff and you're going to be investing capital, hell, do it right. Don't buy highs, buy lows. Remember the old saying. People kind of forget what the old saying is. Buy low, sell high. Now on the floor, you used to say, buy low, sell high, get high. But that was, a 60s, 70s generation of maniacs. But in the way the Swiss National Bank trades, you just gotta love the way they get involved. They stepped up, and not only that, I did a webinar. And I think I did a couple webinars actually reflecting, they bought $2.5 billion of this one, $4 billion of that. I think they bought like $4 billion worth of Apple, $4 billion worth of Amazon, $4 billion worth of Microsoft, or $3.5 billion, like $1.5 or $2 billion worth of Facebook. I mean, they took their money and put it where their mouth was and where their brain is. because they bought at the low. I mean, that is classic. So I really respect the Swiss National Bank being that sharp. I would hope other national central banks are that sharp. It's only in the end result that's only positive for the countries, those individual countries, to see that type of intelligence being used to invest. So that's where we were, and so that was all part of that silver situation. We knew that the volatility funds were going out of business. They had already closed the doors on one of them, and two more were up. Were like 4 or 5 volatility funds, and they had been making billions of dollars, and they threw it all away over a 3-week period. And that's why I hate when I see commercials that say, only way you trade options is by being short. It's like, no. The only way you trade options is if you're hedging them intelligently. Hell, wouldn't surprise me if the Swiss National Bank actually were like long calls or bought puts with those stocks. They're so intelligent in the way they trade that you just want to be like, you just want to be staring at the way they trade because you want to be in there too with them, So anyway, that's where we're at there. That's that. So anyway, middle-aged muscle. Glad to hear that you raked it in. Glad that you actually analyzed our math and saw that you would have made more. And that's at 8.5 out of 10. You have one and a half or one out of 10 chance that you don't. So that's or a 2 out of a 10 that you don't, something like that. So you're staying with the strong side of it all. All right, let's see, where were we? We did all the metals, and we started looking at natural gas, and then muscle, middle-aged muscle jumped in again with a really interesting conversation there about the success of his silver trading. What else do we have left around here? Anybody want to see anything else? We got about a minute and a half. So if there's any particular product you want to see, just shout it out. We'll throw it up on the screen real quick. And if not, then we'll start to pack it up and mosey along there. Cowboy Doc will basically start doing his singing, I guess. I'm looking to see if I see anything. I don't see anything particular jumping out at us. Let's just take a quick look. Oh, Bitcoin. I did see Bitcoin starting to break down a little bit there. Not a lot, but a little. That's the December contract. Let me see if I can find the November contract. I think we're looking at the November contract. No, V is October. Oh, October contract. There. No, that's not it. There's the October contract. You can see here, it's trying to break down. It's been a sell for a whole day there now. And you can see a little weakness in there. So, well, I guess that's what we call it. So anyway, this is Doc from North America. We will catch you again on Thursday. That's tomorrow. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all my trading friends.